Hey Beauty, in this episode I share about my experience with conventional dairy and also my experience with raw dairy. I also share a little bit more about why I actually started this podcast. Before we get into the show, I just wanted to remind you that I am offering coaching sessions. So if you want to increase your energy and start to heal from health issues such as gut issues, autoimmune disorders, and chronic fatigue, things like that, go to www.herholistichealing.com/coaching. I don't know how long I will be doing these sessions for. It's something that God put on my heart, though. I don't know how long I will be offering these sessions. So if you're interested, go to the website. With all this being said, let's start the show. Welcome to Her Holistic Healing. Do you want more energy and less anxiety so that you can do all the things? Are you searching for meal ideas, essential oils, and other holistic treatments? Do you wish you could know which direction to take with your health so that you could finally feel better? Hey, I'm Alexandra. I love Jesus. I'm a wife, mom of 3, and registered nurse with years of experience in clinical research. I also wanted more energy so that I could have more fun and keep up with my growing child. I too was confused about all the different diet and treatment options. I too wanted to wake up every day and feel good, but I felt anxious because I couldn't solve the mystery of my health. Until God showed me that He is the source of true healing. In this podcast, you will learn holistic treatments and Bible truths that will lead you to the peace, joy, and freedom that you have been hoping for. So what do you say we take a break from the mind-numbing humdrum busyness? Let's rest and let God be our healer and helper. Hey Beauty, this episode is part 2 of a two-part episode. So if you have not listened to the last episode, I really recommend that you go back and listen to it. On the last episode, we talked about dairy and farming practices and some health success stories. I also wanted to share my experience with raw milk because I have just learned a lot. I've been drinking it since I think 2018 now. So let's go back a little bit. In the past, when I was a kid, I actually grew up drinking a ton of milk. I loved it. I was given milk to drink every single day. As I got older and I was trying to improve my health when I was having health issues, I started looking into all sorts of foods. I learned how healthy vegetables are and all the things about grain and all the things. But when I got to dairy, I was so confused because many people in the integrative health space, they say that dairy is not good for you. A lot of people avoid dairy. I just heard so many controversial things about dairy, and I wasn't sure about it. So I stopped drinking milk as much. I stopped consuming dairy as much until I found this book called The Maker's Diet. Diana, in the last episode, she talks about it. And in this book, it talks about raw milk. I had never heard about raw milk before, but I was intrigued. So I went online, I found this food co-op, discovered that raw milk is actually outlawed in some states in the US. So you can't just go to any store and pick up raw milk. It's usually pasteurized and homogenized. So I tasted the milk and it was super creamy. I just loved it. And I also started buying butter and cheese and other things from this dairy farmer. I joined this food co-op. I actually found another farmer in the actual city of Chicago, which is really strange. She was raising goats so that she could obtain raw milk and serve the community in that way, raw goat's milk. After a time, I just kept reading on how some people use raw milk because it's great for your gut. Some people with Crohn's disease, like Diana was saying, and other gut issues have started drinking raw milk, and it's been amazing for their health. When I was having a skin flare, sometimes I get these skin rashes on my skin. It's psoriasis or eczema or something like that. Doctors disagree on the diagnosis. I started drinking a lot of raw milk, and also I started taking a lot of coconut oil and beet kvass, and my skin started to clear up, and I really think that the milk had something to do with it. I discovered recently, I was looking on BibleGateway.com, and I was searching for milk and honey, because in the Old Testament, God talks so much about milk and honey. Exodus 3:8. Here's one example. And I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. You will see if you do a search, God keeps talking about milk and honey, milk and honey, milk and honey. And then in Proverbs 27:27, it says, there will be enough goat's milk for your food, for the food of your household, and maintenance for your girls. Before I found these passages, I was just wondering, are these claims about raw milk really true? It just made me wonder, because, like I said, it's been outlawed in not many, but I don't know how many states in the US. It's very hard to get raw milk in the States. I actually read a few years ago that there are raw milk vending machines in Europe. So when I found out that there were armed agents at this small farmer's farm, I just got so angry. I mean, if people want to have their milk and their meat a certain way, a natural way that God created it, leave them alone, right? I mean, there are so many horrible criminals out there, and yet the government is pursuing these small farmers because they don't want to pasteurize their milk. I've been taking raw dairy since 2018, and I have not gotten sick. If cows and animals, they're raised the way they should be raised on the pasture, and the farmer cares about the animals, and he or she takes care of the animals, there isn't such a fear of getting diseases and things like that. Actually, I mean, depending on what stats that you look at, we get food poisoning so much more from other things and not from raw milk. So I just wanted to bring awareness to this situation. I'm not saying that you have to become a raw milk lover. I know that there are vegans out there. There are people that have issues even with raw milk. A lot of the research shows that even if you have milk allergies or you're lactose intolerant, a lot of those issues don't come into play with raw milk. But I have a friend that even with raw milk, she had a very severe reaction. So I'm not saying that everyone should go for raw milk, but I just wanted to bring awareness to this. I also have another friend who also enjoys raw milk, and she was struggling with Crohn's disease. So if this helps you, if you wanted to try it, I just wanted to bring it up, and also, like I said, bring awareness to the situation. One huge dream of mine is to have my own farm or support farmers that participate in ethical farming practices, farmers that raise animals the way God intended, giving them lots of room to run around and give cows grass to eat, because cows are supposed to eat grass. So I wanted to share this as well, because this is part of the reason why I started the podcast in the first place. I'm just going to be honest. I'm so tired of seeing people suffer. Some people, I feel like they suffer needlessly. I'm not saying that everyone will be healed instantly, or that they will be healed just from drinking things like raw milk, but I just wanted to shed light on the fact that God provided so many delicious foods for us, foods that can heal us. And I really believe that some of you just need to tweak your health regimen a little bit, whether it be remove a food, add a food, ask God for healing, ask God for wisdom, rest more, just very simple things. I believe if you do some of these things, you can get better. So that's really why I started the podcast. So I just wanted to share this with you today. I hope that it was helpful, and I will talk to you guys soon. I'm so glad that you took the time to listen today. If you like what you heard, will you leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts so that this show can reach more people? And if you want to connect with me, go to herholistichealing.com. Before you go, I want to leave you with one of my favorite passages from Matthew 29. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls.
For you, it's easy and my burden is light.